I'm here at CES 2026 with Bill, the founder and owner of Walls of Troy. Now what Walls of Troy is doing, from my perspective, Bill, is you're kind of revolutionizing structural wall panels.
Yes.
You know, most of us are familiar with structural wall panels. You know, it's a couple pieces of sheeting on either side. We fill it with foam, we bring it to the site, saves a lot of time, super energy efficient. We don't have any of those pathways for, you know, temperature to migrate into the house. We've shortcutted all that. You have a whole different approach to that, though. We're not talking about an interior and exterior and a bunch of styrofoam in the middle. We're talking about a wood, wool, and Portland cement mix that creates one homogeneous, structural, super strong and quiet wall panel.
Yes.
All right, let's hear about this. I want to hear about this, and you probably do too. So here it is. Tell us first about the chemistry of the material itself. What is this material?
This is wood fibers mixed with Portland cement. And so what happens is the wood is absorbed by that cement, and the cement extracts the sugars out of the wood.
And by extracting the sugar, that means there's no food source for pests and animals and different things like that, so that helps a lot.
And it makes it impervious to the extra elements. Water, snow, freeze.
Because of the Portland cement basis of the product.
Exactly.
Now you told me something earlier that as we go through the wall structure, it's actually like going through a whole bunch of zones as well. They're encapsulated zones. Can you kind of enlighten me about that a little bit?
Because you see a lot of little voids in here.
Yep.
Each void is air. So you're encapsulating a layer of cement on the outside, layer of Portland cement and water mixture on the inside. So each layer of 3-inch layer to make that 12-inch panel is encapsulated, so you're trapping that air, or as that moisture comes
in each zone.
Each of these panels.
And then this zone is permeable, so the vapor can escape in either direction. So I kind of have a permeable coating here, another coating here, another coating here, and another coating here, but I've got 3 different chambers for the moisture to be able to kind of transmit its way through the surface.
Four layers of 3-inch.
Oh, because we've got what? Another one in the middle there?
Yeah, you got 2 in the middle. So
okay, I've got more.
12-inch panel, and
all right.
You got 4 layers of 3-inch, so yeah, exactly right.
Now, because of the density of the material, it seems like this would be incredible from a sound rating perspective.
The STC is in the range of STC 60, depending upon what you finish to the outside. If you can seal it with cement, it's actually 60 plus. If you got siding, it's going to be about 60-ish.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, we've also got some thermal insulation here because you got all these air pockets.
Yes.
And I know our values, you know, they're crazy. It depends on the kind of insulation you use, and they don't all actually measure the real energy efficiency of structure. But can you give me some indication of just kind of how energy efficient it is?
Testing with ICC gives me an R value of 20.
20.
But because each layer is encapsulated, that value
it might actually, in practice, perform better than a typical R value of 20.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's talk about structure. I see we got some rebar in here. Looks like we've got some concrete in here. Explain, first of all, on site, how does this work? These panels come first. I tilt them.
Your foundation is coming up, so you have your steel penetrating through your foundation, standard, you know, that 40-inch slab, so you're up about 3 feet or so.
All right, so the first, 3 feet, 4 feet, whatever of rebar is embedded down into my slab. It's coming out of my slab. I then set these panels so that they are in these channels between the panels.
Correct.
All right. I then tie them up to the very top.
Yes.
And I tie them to a top course as well.
Yeah. The panel, each panel is 6.5 feet by 9.5 foot tall. You have a 9.5 foot ceiling. Each panel has a 6-inch by 8-inch ring beam.
Around the entire top.
And around the top. Each panel has a vertical channel 4-inch by 6-inch on either side. So when you join the 2 panels together,
have a column.
You have a 6-inch by 8-inch open cell. So as your walls go in, then you put your roof trusses in, and then you
anchor them down. And you don't have to have metal trusses. It could be a wood truss with an anchor, but you're bringing that anchor tying it into your rebar.
Into that ring beam.
Yep, exactly.
And then once your trusses are in place and your tie downs are in place, then you pour concrete in. Pour concrete in the top ring beam.
And how much concrete are we talking about? I realize it depends on the size of the structure, but if you got, let's say, 1,500 square foot, perimeter foundation, how much concrete do we need?
You're not going to use any more than about 6 to 7 yards in the entire wall structure.
Okay, so we're not talking about even more than one load. We're talking about one load of concrete coming, and we're going to pour the whole thing really quickly here.
Exactly.
Obviously, we're going to want to vibrate that and make sure it all flows down and get the air all out of it. And we got all the rebar tied in, whether we're using a fiberglass rebar, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, or we're using traditional rebar. It's going to give us the strength, really, of a rebar and cement structure.
Yes.
Beautiful. And then for most, homeowners, they're going to want to know, how much does this thing cost? Can you help us understand kind of the cost structure? And whenever we talk about wall systems, we have to talk about the cost structure of the finished wall system, not just what an individual part is. So let's discuss that just a little bit.
So each panel averages about $2,200 for a 6.5
6
foot
by
wide
9.5.
9.5 foot tall.
All right.
On a 2,000 square foot structure home,
Yep.
you're going to use about 30 panels all the way around a 40 by 50 cube.
Yep.
That's going to run you about $65,000
Yep.
or about $32 a foot.
But that's interior, exterior, the insulation, right? I mean, that
Yeah,
all.
your framing, your insulation, your structural sheathing, your waterproofing, your lath, all that goes away.
Right.
And you're just buying that panel, which replaces all those trades and the materials.
Right, but then you showed me some things that look really interesting to me from a cost savings perspective, and even from a aesthetics perspective, and that's the exterior finish. Normally, right, when we build a wall like that, I've got all kinds of exterior finish that I can do. I got to buy a bunch more material, spend a bunch more money on the outside. But you're showing me here, I'm just putting 2 quick coats directly over the surface.
Right.
This is a pretty low cost and really beautiful aesthetic finish.
Exactly. The material is a natural lath material, so you can finish it with stucco, veneer, siding, whatever you want to put on the outside. The material will adhere to it and take it very nicely.
I mean, you look at the material itself, it's a pretty aggressive material, like a lot of porosity in it, right? So you can see that it's really going to,
that material,
it's going to,
absorbs that brown
it's
coat very
going to
nicely.
it's going to take to it real nice. So you're going to have a lot of 3-dimensional mechanical, attachment to the exterior surface.
Natural lath material absorbs the material and makes it very flat. The panels come out flat and plumb, so you're not fighting that unevenness as you would a normal conventional build out. This is very nice, very flat.
All right. And how would somebody go about buying this? Somebody has
The
interest.
Walls of Troy, we're going to be selling you per your drawings, and you have the windows in, the door places in place. We'll ship them out to you, and we have a technical advisor come out to show your contractor how to install if you have the shop drawings not looking too good for you, but we'll send somebody out to show you how to do it and get it installed correctly the first time.
All right. So if you're looking for something that's kind of resilient, something that can stand really high wind loads, seismic loads, want something that's really energy efficient, maybe you want something that deadens the outside noise, maybe you're in a flight path or you're near a highway or something like that, and you need something that, to really create a quiet interior, you need to see Bill here. Walls of Troy, IBS 2026.